I was telling everyone that before I forgot we need to log in before, but I finally got all the stuff pulled together. We just pulled it together this afternoon, so I haven't sent it out. So I can display it and or send it out so we can review it. Do we want to do minutes first, Kara?
We sure can. I'm just getting them all opened up on my computer so that as you make change, everybody makes a change. I've got them going on. So hold on. I think I've got one more to open. Okay. I think I have them all open, but we'll see. We can, as we go, you guys can correct it or.
What was our agenda? I think minutes were on the agenda first anyway, right?
No,
second. Okay, it's just, do we have any public comment? No public comment, I guess. Is everyone okay if we?
Change the, I would like to move, I would like to recommend that we change the order of what we're doing things.
Flip the entire order.
Do meeting minutes first.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Do you need me to do anything to share your screen?
Do you want me to share or do you want to you guys want to just pull them up and you guys tell me what you want changed? Whatever you want. I can share screen.
It's up to you.
Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
You're good with that? Oh, nope, you've got it disabled.
Yeah. Should be good.
Okay, we're good. You let me know when you're seeing it.
Got it. How do I maximize this?
Okay, I think this was the June 12th ones.
Oh, right.
Yep, June 12th.
Joe, any changes, recommendations to be done? I think there's no H in Arth right there. Art Klugo.
I did not review it for.
Okay, you can review it right. You can review it right now and go through.
Just for grammar. I mean, I didn't see any and I didn't see any what am I looking for? Content issues with anything, but I didn't check grammar at all in anything. So
okay,
that's honestly not nice.
I have no problem. Now we can do it informally. I mean, we can have, because we're not a committee that's like the select board and that kind of thing. We could just do it informally and say, you know, anybody's any changes? Are we okay with adopting these? We don't have to go motion second and all of that kind of stuff if we don't want to.
Cool.
So I'm good with you guys just saying if it's good to go, then we'll tell Duncan to no longer have it be a draft. That one H I'd take out right there, but other than that,
June 12th is good.
We're good.
We swapped the order of our agenda, Matt. We're reviewing all our minutes quick first.
Great, no worries.
Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 12th. Let me just pull up the next one here. Sorry. 26 would be the next one. You want to say June 26th? There's any changes there? Any typos there?
I didn't. Nope. I'm trying to pull up my thing. I didn't have any. I didn't look at like typos. I honestly didn't look for typos. Probably wouldn't be able to catch them anyway.
And Mike's going to let us know when he's no longer a member up there, when we have to switch him to an attendee versus member. That's all fine. So the 26th is good?
Yes, 26th is good.
Okay, that one's done. Exit out of that one. Pop down to our next one, which would be 7. We skipped one, right? So I think we go to 7/24.
I think we skipped a meeting.
Yeah.
Yep. So that would make sense. That way next one would be 7/24. Is this the one that Mike, that you were attending differently?
I don't think we ever, I don't think there ever was. I mean, I think the meeting that I missed was the one that didn't have a meeting. So I think I was.
Mike, I don't know why the mic isn't picking you up at all, Mike. The mic right in front of you. I don't know. It's not picking you up.
Try a different one. Does that work better?
No, that's weird.
Oh.
Amy,
Is this one working well?
Can you hear,
yours is. Amy, say something.
can you hear me out of this one?
No, those mics are very, very, very like whisper.
I wonder if they're not plugged in.
Yeah, you guys sound like you're a million miles away.
Hold on.
Well, you guys want to just use this other?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one between you two should work. That big one, Amy, that he just put over there.
Plugged in.
Sorry to be a pain.
We'll lean towards this one.
There, that'll work, Mike, because you're already coming in better. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. So were there any changes on the July 24th meeting?
No, not for me.
I think that's. I think I need new glasses, but-
Nope. They're not picking up Amy's mic at all. That mic over there. Not weird.
You're not hearing us at all?
Nope. We're hearing a whisper.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah,
What
it's
do I
really quiet.
Maybe
You-
is that speaker hooked? Is that are the microphones hooked into the speakers at all? Are the speakers off or something like that or something off that triggers them?
Is out of my
The
level of expertise.
volume on the computer up.
You're gonna have to pass around Adam's mic like you're saying.
This one works fine though.
Yes, 100%.
I will just go sit next to him. Or do you guys want to pile over here? Next to him?
Or is it, and I'm wondering if it's just the microphone on the laptop that's picking you up, but I think it's the main microphone there that you have.
Oh, how's that? Does that sound better?
Yeah, I think it might be the microphone on the laptop. That's the only thing that's working.
Oh, you might have to switch it over to the room. It's on
Yeah,
the
switch
up-
the audio to the room. That would make sense.
How's that?
Does that work better?
Oh,
Yes.
you did. Oh,
Yeah.
you did. Perfect.
Okay,
Congratulations.
good job, Adam.
Thank you.
50-50 shot if I pick the right one.
Man, that's so much better. Okay, now Amy and Mike were saying something before and I couldn't hear a word you were saying.
Oh, I was just saying that my eyesight is going, the print is small, so I can see most of it, but I'm gonna trust that the rest of it's okay.
I can make it bigger. How's that?
Oh, that's better. Okay.
Okay, not a problem at all. So, any recommended changes? Anybody want me to change something? Did I interpret something wrong or?
July 24th, I didn't have anything.
That looks fine.
Well, how about we take the E off the end of Adam? Nobody noticed that. I did a test.
Edamame.
Okay, we're good on that one. There's the 24th. Let me just save it and get rid of it. Okay, so now we're going to August 14th. Let's make it a little bigger for Amy. If you guys are all okay with it, I will confirm which one Mike was, quote, not a member for the
Yes,
record
I
and just
gave
switch
you
him
the
down
dates,
to.
but I don't remember what they were. at this
Yeah.
point.
So I'll research that, but I didn't. I thought you might have that, Mike. So I'll just check that out. Not a problem. Okay. Any changes to this one?
Looks good.
That one looks good to me.
Okay. Other than we had Adam with an E, we'll take care of that, or that was the one before. We're all good.
I'm okay with that.
I
If
think
that's the worst
Yeah.
thing everyone calls me then.
that was it. Yeah. I think we were done on that date. And what I'll do is I've got two more weeks, 2 more meetings to do that I didn't do yet. I apologize. I got a little behind with this cold and stuff. I don't function well when the head isn't clear, so I'll get the next 2 on ready for you for your next meeting. So that works out well.
Thanks for doing those, Kara.
Yeah, thank you, Kara.
Not a problem. I am going to keep notes during today's, if it's okay with everybody, because
Sounds great.
in case we have something we have to go over, but all the meeting minutes we'll just put were approved for those dates. And then we will, you're gonna share screen, right? And we're gonna see what your,
Yeah, I'm just pulling up the most recent. We've got some revised. We got a revised energy assessment, but we're also waiting on a revised one. I just want to make sure I pull up the.
and I am waiting back. I had a email out to Duncan, I think last week. I'm waiting for a reply from him on where things stand. I might reach out to him again, with stuff to make sure. Cause we have that whole other list of things. I'll meet with him hopefully this coming week. I just didn't want to go meet with him with the cough and the cold and not sharing. Amy's very thankful for that.
Thank you.
But I'll follow up where he is with masons and all of that kind of stuff with the list that
Okay.
we've already provided to him. And if he doesn't have any and nobody's come forward, then I'll pull some in. If everybody's okay with that. Use contacts we have versus,
All right, I'm going to pull this stuff up. I'm gonna log in. I'm gonna join the Zoom from my personal laptop, so I don't have to forward everything.
sure,
So
Sure.
bear with me for 1 sec.
no, it's not a problem.
Then I'll have to figure out how to not have 2 mics going. It'll be great.
Just mute the one on your computer. I think it'll work.
Well, I used up all my expertise.
Yeah.
Cause I saw they were doing some mason work on the Bridge Street buildings right out front on the
Yep.
Masonic building. So whoever was pointing that, if Duncan doesn't have anybody, then we'll start reaching out to people that we see working around town.
Yeah. I know he said he's been working on RFPs, but I'm not sure for which things, so.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I know he was working
Doors,
on it.
maybe? I think he said something about doors today, so RFPs for
good.
doors, so.
Okay, I think they were looking at the
Alright,
keyless
going
locks
slow.
too.
We got it. Okay.
And just for a quick update, Art signaled today he could come in on the 9th, which is next meeting. If that
Oh,
works,
beautiful.
I'll give him the thumbs up.
That'd be great. We'll have him right at 7 o'clock if that's okay, so we can, and is he gonna attend via Zoom? He doesn't need to travel to Richmond. I'm okay with him not traveling.
I told him the same. He said he'd let me know.
Okay,
He's a very
Art.
interesting kind of guy.
I know. Yeah, Art is on for 10/9 at 7
You guys don't
PM.
need to see my.
Woohoo,
Don't
gonna
tell,
play.
Matt, don't tell Elise. Okay, so we have a bunch of stuff here. So let me, what would be the best for everyone? Do you want me to pull up the grant application? We can go through that and I can walk through that, like kind of those parts of it and then.
Yes, please.
Okay,
sure.
and then we also have the estimate, obviously. So the, so this is the actual application. Obviously, we didn't submit it, but we just did a print
Yep.
screen
Mhm.
on it.
Yep.
It's basically a bunch of info,
Yep,
contact info, all that stuff, building info. And then, so it's actually a pretty small, there's a pretty small amount of information they need. It's pretty granular, so. Or I guess that's the opposite. It's like a real 30,000 foot view of this whole thing.
Yep.
So we just kind of select all what we would need assistance with, what we would be using the grant funding for. We're not going to be doing any ADA improvements specifically with this grant funding. So they have a program where they would provide services to help implement the grant through construction. After
Yep.
speaking with them, we chose
Yep.
not to do that. Josh will be the authorized signatory. And then it's all the info for the town center.
oh,
then this
roll
is-
back up, roll back up 1 minute, you jumped right down to there. Good, oh, yeah, go ahead down, yep, go ahead now.
Okay,
I
so
saw
then this
now.
is our budget breakdown. This part not complete, so we should dive into the actual budget. But basically, what it'll end up being is we will have these are all the different
Categories,
categories, and they're actually how they're listed on here is in order of highest priority to lowest priority, which is great. We will be putting in for all our money in the top 2 categories, which
can can I ask you a question though, Adam?
Yeah.
This is prioritized by them, meaning they would like you to do these things first? Or by you and Jeff, with you prioritizing? Okay,
Sorry, yeah, so the grant criteria, or they have prioritized improving building envelope and heating system upgrades.
okay.
So
Thank
not by Jeff and I, this is by the grant
And
program.
is it only interior lighting or is there exterior lighting also? Because our
They had-
exterior lighting needs to be done. It's a huge safety factor for us.
They did have, it could be for either, but after talking to them about that, they had indicated that based on our situation, that they would see that as not as high of a priority as the energy stuff.
Oh,
Sorry,
I'm just saying if there was any room in the budget, if you didn't spend it all up, could we
Oh, yeah.
add
Yeah,
that
I
in
mean, yes,
potentially?
so let's go through the budget, because I think that's
Sure.
more important than this. The application is what it is, kind of, right? I mean, it's,
Yep,
but,
but we'll go back after, but I just see that and think, oh.
but the
lighting.
budget's kind of the important part. And so this is what we had come up with. And basically, so we went through the estimate for the previous renovation, and there was a lot of stuff that would be great to do, but what we came up with as being a good standalone project that really checked the boxes that we would need to check to get the money, and also lined up more with the priorities of the grant program.
Mhm.
It's the project we came up with isn't necessarily our highest priority, but it fulfills the requirements or the goals of the grant program best, which would help our odds the most of getting the money.
Yep,
And so, well, obviously, it would be nice to do our highest priority. We figured for free money, we should do something with it. So anyway, that's kind of the explanation of why this project got the emphasis, because it's pretty standalone. It would be a substantial efficiency upgrade. And then also it would be for our biggest tenant, who gives us a bunch of money. So I think that would be, shows a lot of goodwill. So this basically, what we can go through, I don't think we need to go through it line by line, but kind of the synopsis of it is this covers everything that would need to be done to the post office to remove the kind of hodgepodge of insulation that exists in various parts of the roof now. There's a little bit of fiberglass in random spots, but not consistently. So it would remove that, remove the roof, reinforce as needed to support the insulation, and I guess there would likely be increased snow load because we won't be melting the snow anymore.
Mhm.
And then the added insulation. So it would be tearing the roof down, reinforcing as needed, rebuilding the roof deck, adding foam to the roof deck, and then installing a new membrane. So we would, depending on how this all shakes out, we would get a free roof out of it too, which would be great. And then the other portion of that is, once that's done, obviously we'd change the thermal envelope and reduce the heating needs. Also, the rooftop units that are on there now would have to be removed during the process. And a lot of them are kind of, maybe not end of life, but they're getting much closer to the end of life than the beginning. A lot of them are 20 to 20 something years old. So the post office portion of the HVAC would be replaced with cold climate heat pumps, which would complement the increased envelope.
So are you disposing of the existing units?
Yes,
putting
the
them
ones at
back?
the post office would be disposed of.
So the cost to do the roof is where in this estimate? I mean, is it all over the place? I mean, I don't see any big numbers yet.
You might be looking at the wrong thing.
Is it the green lines? Because there's a roof,
Demo.
roofing demo, roofing, is it planks? Roof, I think it's all the things that are in green.
Yep,
Beautiful.
so
Okay,
we have line 47, line 48.
yep, I see, no, I agree with Amy, I see them, all the roof and stuff is in the green now that you point that out, thank you, Amy.
And then we have the HVAC too. So this is all just for the post office, if that makes sense. So everything in here is all post office stuff. So the green stuff is what's been selected for this specific project. So then
So you're saying all the other stuff came from the previous project?
Exactly. Yeah. So we're not doing every line item. We're doing the line items that are in green.
Okay, now that makes sense, because I was like, what?
Sorry,
How
yeah,
come you're
so-
talking about
And obviously there's
exterior
minor
brick walls? Yep.
electrical upgrades that would have to happen just to support the heat pumps, et cetera. And then also there might be some stuff that we'll have to dig into just by function of where the location of it is relative to working on the roof.
The main building HVAC system, is that out there on the roof as well?
No,
Okay,
I think there is one, there might be one unit that's out there, but I was surprised to hear that, no, they're not out there.
where are they? Where,
I think they're out back in the corner.
oh, so they're on the ground maybe?
Yeah, and I think there is one out there. So that it's
Yeah.
not true that there are none out there.
Yeah, okay.
And I guess that was kind of our thought, is we didn't really dive into that.
Yeah.
If it got.
I think we're
to the
gonna
point-
need to know that, though. You can't
I
lose a
think we're-
unit and not know where it was working.
Go ahead, Mike.
I think the previous proposal ended up with the one for this building out there on the roof.
Yeah.
So we'd have to plan for that, I guess, in case
Yeah.
it happened.
I think that was part of the, I think there was a few reasons for the reinforcing of the roof structure. I think part of it was obviously added insulation and snow load. Part of it was, there was some goals of having solar out there. I don't know if that's not in the scope of this project, but beyond that, I think a lot of it is that there is a chance mechanical stuff could end up out there. And so we would,
If we,
The mechanicals were going to go in the post office, but not on the post office.
and I think there was part
We're
of,
gonna
part
take
of the
space
units.
from
were
the
gonna go
back
on
of the
roof.
loading dock and put the,
I think that the
mechanical
outdoor
there.
units were gonna go on the roof.
I think the outdoor units were gonna go on the roof.
But there's already, I was up there looking there's a bunch of them out there, and the post office has like 3 of them
Right.
out there. And location wise, I mean, I don't have any idea if the locations will be the same weights. I have no idea. So that would be part of the design process.
Going back to what was proposed before, if we do take this roof off and reinforce it, does that make it strong enough to put solar on it in the future if we
I
decided?
think in the design process, we would have to decide if we want to do that.
Yeah, I
We,
don't have a problem with it if we're tearing the roof
Yeah, I
off
mean,
and going at it.
I
anyway.
imagine reinforcing a little bit and a lot once you're reinforcing
Yeah,
is
yeah.
terrible. I mean,
Especially if
I
it's
did-
with free money.
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't envision it as being part of this project to explicitly do that. But if we got into the design process and it was incrementally more money to do that, maybe that would be money well spent.
Yeah.
I honestly hadn't answered that question yet. I
yeah.
hadn't really dug into it. So
I'm
that would
not,
be the first step if we get the grant money, is to come up
Yeah.
with a design and
okay.
do all that. So we could,
and
Mm.
I had question to begin with.
Yeah.
The amount of insulation that we needed to put in didn't necessarily drive having to do major reinforcements to that roof system, that it was the solar that was driving that. And
yeah, I think it was a
I'm-
combo of the two, and obviously the solar is a major driver of that. I don't think that the solar is driving it so much that we won't need to reinforce at all. Does that make sense?
yeah, but if you're taking those units off of it, I question how much you have to reinforce. So
We're putting so to be clear, we're taking the units off to do the work, and we would be putting new units back on.
I thought the new units that were coming are lighter than the old units that used to be there that are big beast. I thought you were going with the other type of units.
Probably lighter, but I don't know.
Yeah,
the
I think they
weights
are.
off the top of my head.
So
they're
I'm
probably
just,
lighter.
I'm just
I
saying
think
there's a
you're right
fine
there.
line for me. There's a fine line for me that sees us going down the path of potentially doing some things that aren't being transparent. So I'm
Yeah.
very cautious of that.
That was
if-
not my goal, and I think I would fully expect that we will vet this thoroughly at multiple steps along the way. So that would be
Beautiful.
design process, during the design process, after design, pre-construction, et cetera. I would imagine that our committee, this isn't if we choose to apply for this grant, that's not a blanket okay from the committee to use that money in any way whatsoever. That it's like, or whoever sees fit. So I would imagine we would be involved going forward. I would envision us being involved. I don't know what everyone else's thoughts there are, but I imagine I gather you agree, Kara, but I don't know what everyone
Yeah.
else's thoughts are.
You said something I hadn't thought of before, but you mentioned that if we put more insulation, we won't be melting the snow as much. It could increase the snow load on the roof.
I think that was part of the consideration from the engineer. And they said it was kind of an imperfect
Yeah.
calculation, but
Yeah, it's hard to
yeah.
tell what that would be, but it's something I hadn't considered.
Based on the
So-
existing bills, the heat loss can't be that much from the roof, so I'll be surprised with how much insulation is necessary over.
And
Um,
I think on the cores that they did, in some spots there was R19 fiberglass. Some spots there was R13, and then in a bunch of it there was none.
Yep,
So,
Whoa.
but there is an inch of foam on the roof already to support the membrane. So there's the kind of 1 inch of continuous foam, which is kind of doing a lot of the legwork. Because if you have
yep.
fiberglass,
I
it's not
gotcha.
continuous.
And I'm not being difficult here. I'm just being very clear because you've seen me post that I'm very, and I'm not saying you're not being transparent. I'm just saying that up front to this committee. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't have any. No, I don't think you're.
So-
being
so
difficult.
we're- So we're applying for a $450,000. Is that what I saw on the application, Adam?
No, I haven't. I'm pulling together stuff. Was working on it this afternoon with Du Bois and King, but we will be applying for 449,000
Okay,
with a 10% contingency. On
Got
top
it.
of
Why,
that.
and I know you've talked about roof, you've talked about heating system. Why are we not going after any kind of, I mean, foundation work at all? I'm surprised if the grant can go up to 500,000. Why aren't we going after some kind of funding there? I mean, you can see that we're gonna have to do some work near the post office where they've been using the wrong kind of salt and it's deteriorating the blocks there.
Yeah, so I think that is a high priority from the town perspective, but from the perspective of accomplishing what this grant was set out to accomplish, working with the rep and with Du Bois and King, they didn't think that was going to put us in the best position to receive the grant money.
Energy,
lot
that
is-
doesn't, foundations don't, the basements, stuff like that doesn't help with energy efficiency? The
I mean,
heat
the
only,
wood
you only have
is the
issues with
highest
heat in your
priority.
roof?
Sorry, what was that?
It's I thought when energy efficiency comes in, they look at all aspects of where cold air can enter and hot air can leave.
Yeah,
Isn't
so
a
one thing they
foundation
did
doesn't
identify-
count?
They identified spray foaming the rim board in the basement of the post office. But it's a pretty incrementally small amount. And so our thought was that if we get the whole grant and we get towards the end and we have money left over, that would be where we would spend that money, is to further button up that envelope over there. Short of spray foaming the rim board in the post office, they didn't identify, Du Bois and King didn't identify anything that was going to be substantial in that portion of the building. And the post office portion.
I'm just asking you from a construction standpoint, a common sense standpoint, if you have air coming in underneath where your flooring is, and your flooring is cold and needing to be heated, how is that not?
I mean, I can, yeah, so I can tell you my thought on it. I don't know what Jeff's thought is. I can't speak for Jeff. My thought was that that's a pretty small, discrete project that we might be able to just, not the masonry part, but just the foam, we would be able to complete as part of, out of the town center fund either way. Because we're talking, low tens of thousands of dollars maximum, possibly well under $10,000 to do that work. And so getting to the threshold of the maximum grant application was much cleaner to not include that. Not that we don't think that it's important, but that's a pretty discrete, small thing we can do at any time. And so it didn't seem, and since Du Bois and King didn't put a huge emphasis on it, we didn't feel the need to include it in the grant, or I didn't. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
Yeah. So we could do that, but we can't really do that and do the rest of it and have the so we're required to include 10% contingency. That's not something that we thought of
Gotcha.
or thought was a good idea. That's a requirement of the grant.
Gotcha.
And
And so we're already at the max once you add the 10% in, is what you're saying?
yeah, exactly. So
Gotcha.
and
Gotcha.
I figured instead of reshuffling, it would be easier to do that part discreetly on our own.
Sure.
Okay.
Since we're already at the max, I get what you're saying there. Mine was
Yeah.
like, hey, if you need another $10,000,
Yeah.
why aren't we
So-
putting the extra 10 somewhere?
That makes sense. Yeah, so that's what we're, so that's basically, it's not basically, every part of this is to re-insulate the roof, re-insulate, reinforce, and replace the roof on the post office, and then replace the heating system with new cold climate heat pumps. So that's the scope of the project.
And those heat pumps now are, I know through the years they've improved and improved and improved, and I just know that on the last couple of years we've seen it on the news that some places that have put them in are putting in a secondary heat source because when it's extremely cold, it's not keeping things warm enough. And we're good with whatever ones that are being proposed. You know, people have experience with them
I guess
in
that would be part of the design
municipal
process.
buildings.
Yeah, that's part of the design process. We haven't obviously spec'd out units yet.
Okay.
Anecdotally, I can say that I've built 3 houses in the last 2 years, and then also mine included, and we use heat pumps, and it hasn't been cold enough that it's ever been an issue. Not even a comfort issue, never mind like a pipe freezing thing. But
I'm just thinking more, I'm thinking more municipality where doors open and close and open and close and open and close every few minutes.
Process, obviously, we'll have to evaluate, we won't have to evaluate, someone will have to evaluate that's qualified to do it and make sure that this plan works.
Thank you.
But on the face of it, Du Bois and King had said that it's a very reasonable ask or goal is to have this heated with heat pumps, assuming we insulate the ceiling and reduce the heat load.
And I think it's key that the heating, I mean, I know people come in and get their mail out of their PO boxes, but I think the key will be is that the staffers are comfortable in the actual post office that are there all day long. So I think just as long as we keep that in mind and realize, I know they're professionals, I know they design these things, but sometimes you and I both know common sense is just like, hey, did you think of this? So thanks. Thanks for putting in the work. Thanks for putting in the work too. I appreciate you doing the work here.
Yeah, this is great. I guess, is there anything else you want to go over? I feel like we
So
should.
we have 2 narratives we can go over. Oh, that's the wrong thing. So there's 2 of them. One is explaining. Do you guys want me to send you these so you can read them, or do you want to read them right now? What's easiest for you?
I think it would be good to send them, whether we read them now or not.
Yeah, you can post them. I can send them. So, this one. So we're limited to 300 words for our narrative to describe the entire project. So that's a tricky amount to get any detail into.
Yeah.
And this basically goes over what we had proposed. We proposed original thing, huge project, didn't go through, but that we've used that. We have the addition. We have these discrete parts of that proposal that we can execute with this. We could execute with this grant that would increase the energy efficiency and the heating system efficiency. And that
I do have a recommendation right away. Right away is line number 2 where you say it's narrowly defeated. It makes it sound like it's an option for us. That was just because it was a little bit too high. Get rid of narrowly. Just it was defeated, period. Now we're trying to find other ways to.
Yeah, that's a good point.
To do things. I don't want them to think that there's an out for them to deny us.
Yeah.
Good point.
It's a good point. Yeah, so basically, and then we outline the project. It's tough to get into too much detail in 300 words. We now have 1 extra word. It was exactly 300. So, and then this is the last paragraph I think is doing a lot of the lifting here. I don't know if the state will care about this, but I think from our committee's standpoint and this kind of sums up my position on it anyway. And I think Jeff is on the same board too, is that this is a discrete project that we can do that accomplishes the goals of the grant and the goals of the town on a specific part of the building. In that, basically we can accomplish something from start to finish, and it wouldn't be part of a much larger renovation where there would be any ability or not inability, any possibility that it got tied up in other town politics and bonding issues and stuff. And so that was an important part of this, is that we wanted to get the money for something that we could get the money for and execute upon, and not have it intertwined with a broader project on the town center.
Great point. I don't know if that really says that really clearly
Well,
and
the
expresses
state
it
said that, the
strongly.
state rep said they don't really care about that, but it was important for me that we put that in there, and that we talked about it
Gotcha.
a little bit.
Okay.
Project. Since we are
Two
mentioning that
questions.
it's a $9.8 million renovation, and they're like, want to be clear that this will accomplish a discrete part of that. It's not going to just go towards the $9.8 million. Does that make sense?
I think that is a very key point, that even though you say the state doesn't care, I think it is, I do agree with you for expressing that it is a independent part of the project that is very impactful.
I think, I know Jeff and I both felt that was important to just show that. I think there are some timelines here. They're not tight timelines, but they would be very tight timelines if this was going to be used to offset the cost of a broader project.
Yeah.
They'd be pretty unrealistic. As far as doing this project, they're very realistic, but so that was the distinction.
What is the timeline to actually do this work?
So I forget that they're updating it continually, it changes, but we would receive a grant. We would receive probably late October. We would know if we received a grant and for what.
Wow, that's fast.
Yeah, and then we would have, yeah. And then we would have, I think, a month to sign the grant agreement. So we don't have to commit any money immediately. We just have to sign the grant agreement. And then I believe we have to commit the money within 18 months, somewhere around there. So there's two different dates. One is to have a design complete, and one is to commit the money after the design, but not spend the money, just commit it. And so we would have, I think it's a year and a half to commit the money after this, so to complete the design process. So they envisioned us doing kind of how, depending on the magnitude of the project, they envisioned some work on smaller projects in towns getting done next summer, but any larger projects would realistically happen likely in 2026.
Right.
Which I think
Adam, is there a match on this? Does the
There is
town
not.
have to match it?
There is no match.
Great answer. Second question, with this work, does the post office have to be closed at all?
I would say yes. We
Okay,
haven't
so we
put
really
time
need to think about that, because we cannot have them close and we cannot have them relocate. I truly believe if they relocate, we don't get them back.
So that was, we were kind of, yeah, I'm aware of that. I know that we're aware that that would be a pretty big risk. We think there's a pretty good option of doing all the work from above, and so there would have to be relocation within the post office. But there's a good chance that they wouldn't have to actually entirely relocate. But obviously we haven't come up with a comprehensive plan, so but that would be part of the planning process, and obviously that will be a big concern.
This
I think
kinda
this is-
seems like-
Go ahead, Mike.
This kind of seems like an all or nothing here. Is there a possibility that they might come back and give us the grant, but not for the full amount? And
There,
what would we do in that case?
we don't, so I guess the short answer is we're not entirely sure, but we think that's a pretty good possibility, is that depending on how many applications and for what amount they receive and how they're able to allocate the money, that we might get $200,000 or $300,000. And then it would be up to us to either scale back the project or choose to maybe fund the rest of it separately or whatever. We would have to hash through that at that time.
So there is, even though there isn't any match that's required up front,
There
could
might
very
not
well be one.
Yes, there might not be like a formal match,
Yeah.
but how they allocate funds might kind of make that, functionally it might be a match.
Yeah.
But
Is
we
this
have
one of
the,
those Is this one of those grants that is advertised, but is more likely to go to needs-based communities, of which Richmond is continually told we are not?
Yeah, so actually we were not even opened or allowed to apply until 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
We're not an energy burden community. The cost of heating and energy relative to our incomes we didn't meet the criteria.
Okay.
The state had a hard time soliciting applications.
Okay.
So much so that they've opened it up to everyone. Jeff attended a webinar about it. I watched the rerun of it. There was 100 people there. About 20 of them were probably administrative
Mhm.
from various agencies and were not from towns. And then there was multiple people that were multiples of the same town. So maybe 60 applications, and there's $37 million, I
Okay.
believe,
Okay.
with a maximum of $500,000. So kind of like doing some back of the
Yeah.
napkin
could be in
math.
there.
We could be in a good position
Even
for
if they
this one.
gave everyone $500,000, they might not be able to allocate all the money.
Okay.
Ballpark.
Okay.
And then also if they gave every municipality in the city, they broke it up evenly among every municipality or city in Vermont, everyone would get $163,000 or something like that. So like they say that there's no guarantee we're gonna get it and we're not a priority, but just from the numbers, I don't
Math looks
don't
good.
Okay.
know how they would be able to allocate the money if they don't give us money.
Okay, that sounds good. That's,
But we
that's,
can-
what-
It's not great for the state or for the energy burden communities, but it's good for us, so.
But we
Right.
can get the award and then we have a month to understand and sign for the grant and understand what we need at that point,
That's
right?
my understanding, yeah. If we get it and they give us, they give us like $30,000.
Right, then
There's
it's,
a good chance like that, just the intricacies and the hurdles we would have to get over to implement this with $30,000 might not, it realistically wouldn't be feasible.
so is the question we're trying to answer today, whether we should recommend that we apply for this grant to the select board or not?
Yeah, I think that would be I guess that's the ultimate outcome is as a committee, do we recommend we apply for it or what?
Yeah, I think I guess I would motion, right? That we recommend to the select board, we apply for the grant. Seems like potential great free money and we can have the decision in our hands as we understand what we get at a later time.
Free money thing, I guess, is pretty important there. Was that a motion, Matt? Okay.
Yeah, I was motioning to recommend that we apply for the grant.
Second.
A motion and a second. Okay. I mean, does anyone have any more questions?
I think you're gonna give us the opportunity to review it before we actually send it to the select board, right? That was the key.
So we
You
have
know,
to send, yes, so I will send the application over with all the information that we have currently. One thing that we are waiting on is the revised, we are waiting on a revised energy assessment from Du Bois and King. They ranked everything based on cost effectiveness. And a lot of those things were in this main building. And because of the interconnectedness of that, I talked with them and Jeff talked with them and explained that while those might be the most cost effective from the perspective of us not doing anything to anything or doing this grant, getting this grant funding, that realistically we needed to do something in the post office most likely to be able to do it as a discrete project and actually make it happen. So they're
Yep.
not going to change anything, but they're going to tweak it to emphasize the cost effectiveness and the effectiveness of this doing standalone projects on the post office. And so I guess the reason we're doing that and waiting for it is that to do this project and part of the grant application is that the parts of the project that we are applying for money for need to specifically be mentioned or referenced in the energy assessment to qualify for the grant money. Does that make sense?
yes. So is this called an assessment that you're waiting for them? I'm just trying to take notes.
Yeah, energy assessment. Yeah. So it was, they did an energy audit. They did a blower door test and they wrote up an energy assessment.
Okay. I didn't know that I didn't know it was them doing that. So that's not, you don't have to go any further. I got you, Adam. I just wanted to.
And I have it too. I will send it over. This is not the, so I have 5 files I will send to everyone right now. so you
Actually,
guys
no,
can read them all.
I really think these should be uploaded by Duncan. They should be on the website because
I'll do
we
that,
we
but-
discussed it at this meeting and it's draft, so it can be public.
Okay, so we can do that also.
Yes,
We have to submit the grant on Friday. So just
this
for
Friday.
yes.
Oh,
It's a
oh,
deadline.
so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't go to the select board then?
No, the select board is counting on us to,
Proof it.
we are deciding whether it's good to go or not.
They've approved it contingent on us saying it's
Exactly,
okay.
yeah.
Got it.
So-
Okay.
So here's the problem with the whole scenario. If you
Yep.
send us a copy of it and we have changes, we all have to send those changes just to Adam and not share them with everybody else because that's the open public meeting laws,
Would
okay?
you like me to
So-
BCC you all on it so there's no chance of replying all?
That's
Okay.
smart. Yeah.
There you go.
I will
There you
do
go.
that.
Okay,
That
so
way we're not-
yes, you'll email them to us. Yes, you'll also send them to
Right now,
Duncan so he can
because
upload it. And
fault
yes, we'll
for
reply to
everything.
just you, and there is a vote, so we're good. But can we amend the vote to say we approve applying for the grant by Friday after comments are provided to Adam, if any, and so if we don't have any comments, we need to just let Adam know also we don't have any comments. So that he's not waiting for comments. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
So I'd like a friendly amendment, if that's okay, to the motion that we apply for the grant after a comment time period that can be, what are we on, Wednesday night now? Does everybody have time to review it before 5 o'clock tomorrow, or do you need until Friday morning?
I can make tomorrow happen.
Fine.
Tomorrow's good.
Okay, let's go 6 o'clock tomorrow in case I get stuck late with the work. So I might need a little extra time. So Adam, we are all just gonna send you an email, either good to go, or we found a typo, or any suggestion.
Sounds good.
With the understanding you still don't have the draft changes that you're gonna make from Dubois and King. So it's kind of hard for us to recommend
Yeah.
changes to you, and then you put something in completely different than what we've ever seen is my only.
You can all hang me if I do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the only real sticking point would be if Du Bois and King doesn't mention the stuff we need them to mention. But I think at that point, we're not in a position to submit something different. It would be whether we submit something incomplete, what we've talked about incomplete, or we don't submit anything at all.
Okay.
So I don't envision a scenario where something different gets submitted.
I mean, I think you guys have done a hell of a job, and don't get me wrong, but I think some of
Timeline
your
is very
language,
Yeah.
some of your language, my feeling isn't strong enough selling what they're trying to have you get the grant for. I mean, you're
Yeah,
not really emphasizing the energy efficiency of what the benefits of what you're doing to the structure is, and it's a 1950 structure and blah, 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 blah. I know you have limited
I
words.
agree based on what we talked about today. I think that the point I would make is that the rep has emphasized repeatedly that the energy assessment is going to sell that for us. And that's what
Beautiful.
really, that's the critical part. And the energy assessment was done specifically to apply for this program.
Oh, great.
So it's not the standard energy audit that you would get with Efficiency Vermont, where they would look at the whole thing and pitch all this stuff. It was done from the perspective of specifically meeting the criteria and the goals of the MERP grant.
That's great to hear. Get us some money is what the purpose
Energy
of it.
assessment's going to sell it for us, assuming we get that in time and we actually can use it.
Okay, that makes me feel so much better. Not that it's all about me feeling better, but I appreciate you letting us know that. I'm ready to vote for everybody else's.
I have two emails for you. I have a Gmail and an AOL. Which one?
Gmail.
Gmail. Okay.
I
Yeah, I
created
think-
it just for
I
you,
think
so you-
that coupled with the fact that we have a 30-day review to accept and sign for the grant or not, make me really comfortable with applying for it and seeing what we get back.
Yeah, I think that's going to be critical too. I mean, even if we get this grant mostly funded, that'll be huge. If it's, if we just get a portion of it, it'll be a trickier decision.
Yeah, we'll
Matt,
see.
I totally get what you say, Matt. I have no problem spending money, so that's not an issue for me. My fear is not getting enough of the money. So that's why my point is the vernacular and the language used in begging for money is got to be key for them to give you more money than just the 30,000 that if we only get 30,000, then we didn't beg hard enough.
Fair enough, Kara.
But
Yeah, I mean, I really I have a hard time believing that we will, I think there is a good chance that we would get like half of it funded. I'm not basing that on anything specific. But I don't see a situation in which we get money for this project and it's not in the hundreds of thousands of dollars range.
my background is I come from the nonprofit world and writing grants, to get funding for things. So it's really in the language and that's what gets it. It's not just that, and I know it's that energy assessment that you said, as long as they have the language in there that meets the criteria, but it's really in how you express it. So a $9.8 million vote that got denied, and we're asking you for $500,000 toward this project is a pretty strong request. We have a lot of work to do. Please help us get some of the energy efficiency tasks taken care of. So thank you for what you've done. And I'm going to keep my fingers crossed.
Don't have any money yet, so.
Yeah.
All right, so they're all BCC'd. I have Kara, Mike, Amy, Matt. So you have all of the, you guys have all the documents, and then I will talk to Duncan and get them posted also.
That would be great.
Thanks. So do we need to
We have to
remotion?
vote. Yeah, we have to vote.
We have a motion on the table still.
Yes, we have
Any
to
more
vote.
discussion?
Second, Karen?
The second was Mike. Yep.
Yeah.
So start with the online folks. Matt?
Aye.
Kara, aye.
Mike, aye.
Amy, I.
Adam? Aye.
5-0.
That's exciting. Hopefully we get a bunch of money.
Come on, money.
So I don't have anything else for tonight. I don't know if you have anything else. Can we talk agenda real quick? And I know, Amy, it's okay. I hope it's okay that you keep providing that stuff to Duncan for us. I
Yep,
really
sure.
appreciate that. So next meeting, we can go over, we'll put the meeting minutes at the end of the meeting, since Art will hopefully be here, and we'll have Art do the presentation to start with right at 7, after we do any public comment and change in order of the agenda. And can we just put this grant follow-up on our discussion to say you've applied, and the results of the Du Bois and King stuff, and just like a quick update? Is that okay with you, Adam?
Yeah.
I hope everything's okay there.
No. Yeah.
So
everything's fine.
we'll do that, Amy, and then if I've got any update from Duncan, I can add that in, which would be a quick 5-minute, or if that, because I like to keep you guys, abreast on what's going on. That's all I have. I don't know if anybody else had anything on the list.
I don't, no, likely,
That's it.
hopefully there's an update about this grant more than just we submitted it, but who knows?
No, I'm okay with you just getting it submitted in the next by Friday and having an update in 2 weeks. I really don't think we're going to hear. Well, you can surprise us.
What's the date of our next meeting? That's October what?
I believe it's the 9th.
9th? Okay. October 9th. And it's Campbell's Hump Design Group, right? Is that Art's company?
That's right.
Okay. All right. I will send this to Duncan.
Great. Anything else?
I don't have anything.
Else? Like anything?
Nope.
Anything else?
I'm good.
I
Motion
guess
to adjourn?
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Kara,
Amy, I.
Opposed? Anyone? All right.
Hey guys,
Yay.
thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
This is awesome.